Let's get started with some of the latest headlines in the COVID-19 outbreak. It is the first of the month, which does mean for many Americans, rent is due today. Bills come due as well. Of course, hundreds of thousands can't afford to pay it. They're out of work right now. Financial experts say don't go into hiding and just not pay your rent. You should try to work out a compromise with your landlord. They're dealing with this from so many people. You can talk about a reduction or an extension. Governor of Minnesota did sign an executive order that banned all evictions during this crisis. The White House has put out new projections for where the final numbers may end up as the nation braces for the worst of all this.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead. We're going to go through a very tough 2 weeks, very, very painful 2 weeks.
President now saying that his people expect between 100 to 240,000 Americans will die before this outbreak is over. And that is if full mitigation measures are taken. Without social distancing, they're saying that number could be much higher. Here are the latest numbers. The death toll in the United States spiked to more than 4,000 overnight. We're looking at the worldwide numbers right now. In the U.S., there are nearly 190,000 cases confirmed. Nearly 39,000 of those confirmed cases came in the last 48 hours. Nearly 20,000 Minnesotans have actually been tested for COVID-19. So far, 629 have tested positive, 288 have recovered, 12 people have died. In Wisconsin, there are more than 1,300 known cases of COVID-19. Most of them are in the Milwaukee area, the densest city, the biggest hotspot. The entire state has reported 16 deaths.
Minnesota is preparing for the virus to peak here, but officials say it's not clear when that will happen.
We are right now just starting to be able to compare the rate of growth in our cases to what we've seen in other communities.
So state health officials say that they're looking at national and international data to try and figure out when the virus might peak in Minnesota. The models currently predict that peak sometime between the middle of May and the middle of June. However, the Department of Health says it's getting more information that's specific to Minnesota, so that time frame could change. Officials want to add 2,000 ICU beds across the state before the peak hits. The Minnesota National Guard is helping parts of the state get ready. Members took 250 cots from Camp Ripley, that's up in Little Falls, all the way up to St. Louis County to be used in a quarantine shelter there.
Minnesota healthcare companies may have some tough decisions ahead as they prepare for a surge in COVID-19 patients. Money's not coming in. Essentia Health in Duluth cut 500 non-medical staff. Fairview Health Services says it's also looking to reduce staff. Revenue down as those elective and non-critical procedures have been postponed. Christy Ricks is an RN at Fairview Southdale. She's been in the field for 30-plus years, helps prep people for surgery, cares for them when they get out. But because the elective surgeries are all on hold, she tells us she's worried about her job.
They're looking at furloughs, which means people could be reduced by at least half. Fairview is willing to keep half their salary, and the rest of it would be by unemployment.
mHealth Fairview says it is evaluating staffing needs at all positions, levels, specialties, facilities. The expected revenue decline is 1/3. President of Fairview Health Services says the changes we are making now are needed to ensure the long-term health of our system so it can serve the community throughout this crisis and beyond. People on the front lines, of course, caring for patients with COVID-19 are not expected to be impacted. Fairview does plan on reducing hours beginning Monday and going through May 3rd. We reached out to health partners as well. What they're doing right now is reducing staff hours, moving people around temporarily to other departments, and using time off or leave practices. But so far, no layoffs.
Dozens of students in southern Minnesota will board school buses tomorrow. They're going to attend class using the Wi-Fi on the school bus. Waseca Schools came up with this unique idea for students who don't have internet access at home. 7 kids at a time will get 2 hours each day for that schoolwork. The district will take their temperatures before boarding the buses and sanitize the seats when they're done. Governor Tim Walz wants people to take social distancing more seriously around popular Twin Cities lakes and trails. He's concerned about some of the crowds he's hearing about. A lot of people flocking to the same spot to go out for a walk, especially those trails around Madea-McCoska. They're very busy, and that makes it hard to stay apart those 6 feet they're asking us to do. We saw a lot of walkers, runners, cyclists out there yesterday. Some people lounging on chairs, with picnic tables. Some who live in this area suggest perhaps people should walk in their own neighborhood instead of driving to destinations that are known to be very busy.